twins, it's just Martine and welcome to the start of another weekly reading vlog. It's actually high-key Friday, but I'm introing this vlog now and I already have clips for it. I thought I introed it, I didn't. Oops, let's get it.
Hypnotized, I don't know why she got me feeling this way. She's got a way about her. She's got a way about her. And I'm mesmerized like every night by every word she'll say. She's got a way about her. She's got a way about her. Yeah, she doesn't know that she's got a hold. She's got a certain kind of gravity. She doesn't know that I want her so. And when I see her, I believe in every hunger turning to natural song. She took me to the moon and we kept on going. Like the whole world stopped for her, but she couldn't get. She got me dancing through the streets like I'm Fred Astaire.
Hello, long time no talk. It's Thursday, late afternoon. I've got plenty of B-roll for this, but I haven't talked to you, and I have also finished books, so there's that. I'm back home for a little bit and have not really felt up to talking to the vlog as I finish books to review them, but I have 3 books to talk to you about right now. The first is the audiobook that I was listening to while falling asleep for a little while, and that was How to Be Perfect, The Correct Answer to Every Moral Question by Michael Schur. Michael Schur is the creator of The Good Place, and so this was basically a deep dive into the philosophy of ethics and morality. It was interesting and funny because it's by a comedy writer. So I gave this book 4 stars and I don't have much to say about it. Like, it was a good time and I learned things and it was interesting to think about, but there's not much more to say about it outside of that. Then I read the entirety of The Magicians of Elephant County by Adam Perry, which I got from the Dollar Tree a couple months ago, and this fulfilled a prompt for the Camp Half-Blood readathon. It fulfilled the Shield prompt. Oh, also How to Be Perfect ended up filling the Spear prompt, but this was Shield. I read this in one day. I read it yesterday because it's a middle grade book. It was really fun. I think people in the target audience will love this book. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. I found the writing to be great and really quirky, but it just had way too much action in it for me, which is typically the problem with fantasy books, 1, which this is, and 2, middle grade books, which this is. This is about 2 magicians. The girl insists they are co-magicians. The boy insists that the girl Emma is his assistant, and they do magic tricks, and one day they meet this witch and they accidentally do some real magic and things go down in town from that because they revealed the location of something that had been hidden for a really long time. This was great. Adam Perry both wrote and illustrated this, which was so fun. So all of the case files that were in it he made, and they were so fun to look at. I did really enjoy the way that this book was told. We hear from both Emma and Duncan, the 2 magicians, and it's in the form of an interview where basically they're being interrogated about the events, and so they tell us what happened from their perspective, including Emma, who is doing the right thing and continues to insist on getting a lawyer. So good for you, Emma. Teach the kids about the Miranda rights. Yeah, this was a fun time, quick read. Moving on. Today, I finished A Song for a Whale by Lynn Kelly, which is a book that was actually referenced in a book I read recently. So recently I read What Happened to Rachel Riley, and the main character in that book really loved to read, and she mentioned how good this book was. Like, she gave it to somebody as a birthday present and described it as it being about this deaf girl who finds out about this whale and goes on a search for it. And I was like, that sounds incredible. I want to read that. And it was a real book and it was available at my library. So I downloaded it and I read it right away. And I'm giving it 4 stars. I definitely think it was interesting and well done. And I had a good time reading it. It just didn't give me the 5-star feels that may or may not just have to do with like my current mindset. So who knows, but I had a really good time with it, and I think it's a fantastic middle grade book as well. With the deaf representation, the author is not deaf, but the author has been an interpreter now for around 20 years and has worked with lots of deaf children, particularly in schools. And so especially when the author was writing about the interpreter at the school for the child, that was based on like her experiences, which I really appreciated. The author did a really great job, I feel, from what I know, of discussing deaf culture, sign language. American Sign Language is not the same as like Pidgin Sign English, which is a direct like English to sign kind of modicum. ASL is like a totally different language, and the author did a good job showing that in the book, but then explaining that in the author's note. And also in the author's note, the author made a really great point. She was like, I know that for most people, deafness is not hereditary, and so it's actually very rare for people to have grandparents who are deaf, like the character does in this story. But she wanted it to be very, very clear that the problems that the main character was having was not because she didn't want to be deaf. You're not supposed to view her being deaf as her having something wrong with her, because it's not something wrong with her. And oftentimes that message gets a little mixed in media about deaf individuals. And so this one very clearly wanted to show like a strong family connection with her grandparents. She was proud to be deaf. She was proud of her culture. And that was a really important part of this story. So I loved that. It wasn't for any prompts or anything. It was just a fun read based on another book's recommendation, I guess. That's where I'm at.
Got me dizzy, head is spinning when she comes around. She's got a way about her. She's got a way about her. Yeah, she's the only thing that keeps me in this lonely town. She's got a way about her. She's got a way about her. Yeah, she doesn't know that she's got a hole. She's got that certain kind of gravity, and she doesn't know that I want to show. And when I see her, I believe in every hunger, talent, Sinatra song. She took me to the moon and we kept on going, like the whole world stopped for her, but she couldn't care. She got me dancing through the streets like I'm Fred Astaire. Hunger, talent, Sinatra song. She took me to the moon and we kept on going.
All right, I have been in an absolutely funky mood, and so although I've been finishing books, I haven't wanted to talk to you. Now it's fully Monday. I want to start my new vlog, but I like haven't updated you on anything. So here we go. We're going to talk about some books. The first book that I finished was The Atlas Paradox, which I finished, I think, 2 days ago. I finished it, I think, Saturday. I think I finished it Saturday. And unfortunately, I didn't like it as much as the first book. I'm giving it 3.5 stars, which is good, but I gave the first book 5 stars. So in comparison, it's like not as good. This one just felt like it was more all over the place than the first one. And I didn't get to spend as much time with the characters in a way that I liked. So that's my whole review of it though. Had a fun time with it though, and interested to see how the trilogy wraps up when the last book comes out early next year. Then I read Give Me Your Hand by Megan Abbott, which completed my last prompt for Camp Half-Blood. Is one of the weapons, but I forget which one. Dagger? I think it was Dagger. Anyway, so I read that. I think I also gave it 3.5 stars. And this one was about this woman who had grown up with this other girl and like learned this girl's terrible secret and then was like, I'm never gonna see this girl again, so it's okay. And then she's a scientist in a lab, and suddenly this girl joins her lab and she's like, uh-oh. And this was a really fun time. I definitely did keep reading to see like what's gonna happen next. Like I did a good job of that, but I didn't care like deeply for the characters. So there was a lack of connection there. And I do think parts of it could have been shorter than they were. Not that it was a long book, it was like 339 pages, but still. I did read that one as a physical owned book, but it's downstairs and I'm too lazy to get it. So hence the picture. And then lastly, yesterday I read almost all of, like 90% of Always the Almost, which is a book about a trans mask high schooler who plays piano and has for his whole life. His boyfriend broke up with him when he came out as trans, but he still very much identifies as gay and still has feelings for that boyfriend. And so he kind of wants to see if he can get him back. Meanwhile, there's this huge piano competition coming up. And then this new kid moves to town, Eric. Eric is the light of my life, okay? I loved Eric. I'm giving this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely be on the lookout for other books by this same author. He was great. And I really enjoyed all the discussions about practicing piano. Like, they really got into it. And I didn't make the same mistake that I did when reading briefly A Delicious Life. And I actually looked up the songs that they were talking about and listened to them while reading. And that definitely elevated the experience. So that was fun overall. Sorry for the kind of half-hearted rapid reviews, but you get to see Ernie, so it's okay. But I'm going to go ahead and end this vlog here. If you like to go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what was the sequel that you rated lower than the first book in the series, and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!